Okay, amazing. So, James, thank you very much to be here. We are from Latin America, one of the biggest networks of rock music here in around the world. Actually, Hispanic America. We are more than 10 million people that we really love like rock, classic music, rock. So, really excited. Thank you to be here. Yes, to the community.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
That's amazing. So, like, we are extremely excited to know that you released like a new album, hits, right? This is the hits with six new songs that nobody listened before. And how was the process to choose the hits, and then we can talk about those six other new compositions.
Yeah, well, obviously, the easy part of it. Let's see. You've been signed out. Are we still here? Yeah, I said I've been signed out. The easy part of it was picking the hits, because those were the songs that had been popular, for instance, on the radio, songs that people knew. So songs like "Life Is Beautiful" and "This Is Gonna Hurt," "Lies of the Beautiful People." That was the easy part. Then the real fun part was going through and picking other songs that we felt would kind of help round out the picture of who SIXX A.M. is, who we started out as, and how we've evolved over the years. So it was a neat opportunity for us to gather the songs that we really wanted to be identified by. And we did that a number of different ways. Number one would just be songs that we felt were important either lyrically or message-wise, but then also songs that our fans had reacted to over the years, songs that had resonated with our fans over the years. That's how you end up with a song like "Skin," for instance, being on there, because even though "Skin" was never a radio single, it's been listened to by a lot of people, I think, because the message of that song really impacted people. It was songs like that, songs that just kind of rose to the surface and for one reason or another really resonated with our fans. And in doing so, it gave us a new perspective on how fans perceived us. It's been an interesting process putting these songs together. It's been very gratifying.
Wow, that's amazing. So, like, you released this some weeks ago. It's basically new. And all this process of choosing and putting the songs where the fans already knew and they're like really excited about, these last other six songs, how was that new process? Well, not new, but between the COVID scenario that we are living, those six songs were composed in the COVID? Or before?
What happened is we got off the road, I think in 2000, like late 2016, we got off the road. And we knew at that point that at some point in the future, we were going to be putting together this hits album. So we wanted to have some new material for it. So as soon as we got off the road, we went right into the studio and we wrote and recorded a few new songs. And at that time, we wrote and recorded "Waiting All My Life" and "Penetrate." And I think at that time, we didn't know whether they would be on another full-length album or whether they would be part of this hits package. We just knew that we wanted to get in and document something of where we were at that point in time. So we wrote and recorded those songs. Then COVID hit, and of course we had a couple of years where very little happened. I didn't do much songwriting at all. We really didn't do anything together as a band. But during that time, Nicky was writing his book, The First 21. And if you know anything about SIXX A.M., you know that anytime that Nicky's putting out a book, we're going to kind of come in and we're going to write some companion songs to that. So we decided a few months ago to get together and write the song, The First 21. So there was this long period of time during COVID where we didn't do anything. And then just a few months ago, we got together and wrote The First 21. And it was so fun because it had been a long time since we had been together writing. And we were all very refreshed from having so much time off, and it just happened quickly, and we got very, very inspired, and it was a lot of fun.
Wow, that's amazing. Like with all the artists and rock bands that I've been talking with, this new thing that we are living, the COVID, it's like we have some disadvantages of not performing live and these things, but a lot of them, they had this introspect moment, you know, in order to realize other other phase of their artistic processes. And a lot of them worked online, you know, like they couldn't be together. In your case, you were together, right? Like with
yeah. Well, we did both. You know,
okay.
we had to, of course. You know, COVID is still happening, so we did have to do some Zoom sessions.
Oh wow.
But yeah, that was something that I've been very interested in. Is I'm going to be really interested to hear music that comes out in about 6 months to a year. You know, how is that COVID time going to affect the writing process for all of these bands? How is it going to affect what they want to talk about, what they want to sing about? Because we've all been in kind of a holding pattern for a couple of years. So it'll be very interesting. And I don't really know what to expect. You know, if what we've done is any indication, then I think, you know, people are really chomping at the bit to get back together and make music and create content again. So I think it's going to be very exciting, but that remains to be seen.
Totally. Yeah, that's really interesting. Something that we are gonna see the next moves to. Like, what's you already have released the album. The next steps. Do you have concerts, live concerts, something? What you can share?
We don't have any plans. Right now the only plans that we have are the release of the Hits album. We don't have any touring plans coming up. Of course, I believe Nikki is going to be very busy with the Motley tour, which is going to happen pretty soon, I think. So right now, no plans for SIXX A.M.
Okay, well, we have everything in Spotify right now. I was listening since the release of the album, and it's really like energetic. You know, like how can you describe this whole package in some few words from someone that maybe don't know this kind of content?
Well, that's a good question, and actually, that was one of the things that we thought a lot about when we were putting together, when we were deciding which songs to go on this album. Was we wanted it to be the type of thing where if you've never heard of SIXX A.M. before and you listen to the Hits album, you will gain an understanding of who this band is, where we came from, how we've evolved over the years, and also, more importantly, what's been important to us. The messaging, the lyrics of our albums has always been so extremely important to us and to our fans. So if you had never heard of SIXX A.M. and you were to listen to all of the songs on that album, on the Hits album, I think you'd gain a really good idea or a good understanding of who SIXX A.M. is. And if you like it, then as you pointed out, you can stream every single song we've ever written and recorded. So there's a lot out there to be discovered, and hopefully this Hits album will be a good starting point for people.
That's amazing. Like what you are mentioning about like how care you are with the meaning of the lyrics and everything of the outcome of the album. I was wondering how you can talk about or make an advice or however you can see it with the new bands, the new rock bands that are like trying to make a living or trying to actually have a space in a rock world, but at the same time they have this thought of, well, but everything is changing. Rock music maybe is not what it was in the ages of the gold ages of rock music. Yeah. What would you say to these new bands that are trying to make a bet, you know, on this amazing, extremely amazing rock music?
I think the first question that I would have them ask themselves is, what are we trying to accomplish here? How would you define success? What is going to define success for you? If you want to just be famous, then you're on a certain path, and I don't really think that that path is typically going to be very rewarding. But if what you want to do is create something unique and share it with people and go out there and find your audience, then I would say just be as honest with yourself as you can. When you're creating and writing music, be honest with yourself, because if you're just trying to do something in order to become famous, you're probably going to end up being disappointed more often than you are satisfied. So make sure that you're doing something that you're passionate about, that you believe in, and that you don't need to have any financial success to make you feel good about what you're doing. Then everything else that happens is just going to be icing on the cake, you know? And it's going to also, if you're passionate about what you're doing, then you're going to be able to sustain that struggle. It's a long struggle. It's hard to make it in the music business. It's harder now than ever to make it in the music business because so many people are trying to do it, you know? So find your unique path. And don't necessarily look at what bands have done in the past and try to emulate that. Plot a new course. There are new ways to become successful at what you do. You don't need to go the old route, which is, you know, make demo tapes, send them to record companies, sign a record deal, get out and do that. There are new ways to do things. There are new ways to become successful. So just explore those. And more importantly than anything, make sure you're enjoying what you're doing, because it's a long journey. And if you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's going to become even longer.
Totally. Like that word that you just mentioned about explore, I think that's one of the clues of the right ideas to just stick on that one, because I had a lot of like friends and colleagues on the music industry, and they tell me, well, I know what this is my passion, but why is so hard to stay with my passion? You know, what are the reasons that, like, I know what I am totally authenticity with my passion, but it's really hard to. But actually, what you mentioned is totally true. Like, you have to still exploring the ways to go and to stay with what you are, you know. So
yeah, you know, I think that it is such a hard business. It is such a hard business. So a lot of people try it and they find it difficult and they get frustrated and they quit, you know.
Totally.
And then others just really stick it out. Others just they don't even think of failure as an option, and they just keep trying and trying and trying. This is a business that you know, really only the persistent will survive. You have to be persistent, you have to be committed, you have to believe in what you're doing. And then, you know, there's also just you gotta wait for that stroke of luck to come along.
Totally. Thank you very much for that honest in that kind of opinion, because sometimes it's like, yeah, just go ahead, but actually it's hard. It's hard, and we are really thankful and grateful to have you as one of the options that are still making music and rock music. That is what we loved.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just, you know, to speaking to those young fans that are still trying. I built a pretty successful career as a songwriter and producer when I was in my 20s and 30s, but I did not have my first hit song with SIXX A.M. until I was 40 years old. That's a long time to be dreaming of being a rock star and having it not happen. So I tell you that story because for any of those young kids that are trying and that are getting frustrated and they're in their teens or in their 20s, 40 years old before it ever happened for me. So if you believe in what you're doing and you keep working hard, you know, you don't have to give up. But that being said, it's important to kind of all along the way, every once in a while, stop and take stock. Every once in a while, stop and go, okay, how are things going for me? Where am I showing signs of improvement? Where am I showing signs that need some work still? Always be willing to analyze what you're doing and improve on yourself. But if you do that, and if you don't give up, you know, look, crazy things can happen.
Exactly. Yeah, things happen. And well, with SIXX A.M. can happen more and different things. You know, like it's not over. Like you are just releasing something. You mentioned some kind of linear time that is really important to consider, but at the same time, we don't know what can happen for us at the same time. Like SIXX A.M. It's like it can feel that it's starting, but it's not starting. But it's like with a new album, it's just starting. You know, 6 new songs. What you do on the past, like. 6 new songs, what you do on the past, like it's a new fresh release, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like just to like go with the band per se. Are you going to make some kind of content around the album, like videos, something else, in order to?
Yeah, we've been putting together a lot of lyric videos for
Yeah.
the songs on the album.
Cool. Yeah.
And and we'll continue to do that. But what's exciting to us is that, of course, the book is out now as well. And so again, to have those companions, they kind of feed off of each other, and that's always very exciting to us. You know, it's just a little bit different than how most bands do it. I think that we're the only band that I know of that has kind of consistently released music as a companion to a book. So
yeah, that's,
it's exciting really, for us.
That's extremely interesting. One question: do you write part of those books, or you just focus entirely in the music?
We're not involved in the writing of those books at all. Mm-hmm. No, but we do all of the writing of the music together as a trio. And that's been a really neat experience over the years, you know, to be able to, you know, the way that we do it is we kind of think of the book as a movie, and we kind of feel like we're scoring the movie. So it's just an interesting and unique writing experience, which is different than how most bands do it.
Totally. Like it makes you feel that you want to read the book and listen to, like, whatever entrance people will feel is like, I started with a book and then I fell in love with the music, or vice versa, you know, or both together. That's really, really cool about it. And actually, like, I have a band too, and we do something similar, but with we do this process of ayahuasca. Do you know what's ayahuasca?
Yeah.
No, okay. So everything about our lyrics is about that moment that we had in ayahuasca as a retreat, you know. And when we go to this retreat, then we make our next album. But we are really respectful about that. It's not like because of marketing. No, we started doing that, and then we built the band, and we say, okay, let's put a name, you know, and then we just keep going.
What is the name?
The name is Nave Ascensor, like a ship elevator, you know. We make fusion with Latin American music and all of that, and rock too. Of course, we started with a rock school.
I love that.
But I can feel that resonance idea of like you stick with something, you keep going, you have some differentiation that is really cool as an outcome. And I felt that, like, actually, I do kind of the same, you know.
That's awesome. I love that. That's really cool.
That's really cool. So just to not steal more of your time, it's really amazing to talk with you. Really honored, actually. What would you do if I ask you something like, if you have the chance to share a scenario with someone that is not alive anymore, who would you choose?
Ooh, boy. I think I would probably spend some time with Freddie Mercury.
Wow.
And just, you know, just try to pick his brain a little bit. He was such an extreme talent, and was such a big part of why I even make music at all. I think that would be such an incredible experience, and one that I'm sad I'll never have.
Totally. Actually, when I ask this question, the ones that appear almost is one side is kind of Freddie, you know, because I am a huge fan, like, wow. But also it's David Bowie. Imagine how to pick his brain, like. He was like another planet.
Perfect example. Another perfect example. And quite honestly, I hold both of those kind of in similar regard. They're both so influential and made such a big impact on everything that we as musicians do today, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, James, thank you very much for your time. All the people from Latin America, you are totally invited to listen to the new album Hits from SIXX A.M. It's amazing. Also, there's a book, you know, that is joined to that.
21,
So thank you very much. If you want to to just make like a hello to the Latin America people. We are El Rock Es Cultura. That's our community. The Rock is Culture. In Spanish is El Rock Es Cultura. And really happy to...
I don't want to, I won't even try to pronounce that, but I do want to just say a real heartfelt thank you from all of us in SIXX A.M. It's been really amazing since the beginning of this journey, all the way back in like 2007. The fact that that we've been able to share our music with people all around the world, and even places where we haven't been able to come and play live in concert. The fact that we've been able to make connections with fans and friends all around the world has just been such an incredible experience. And that's part of the reason that we made this hits album. We just wanted to say thank you and share how important SIXX A.M. has been to us. And also just say thank you, because you've made SIXX A.M. so important to so many people, and we're just forever grateful for that, and can never thank you enough. So a heartfelt thank you from all three of us.
Amazing, James. Thank you for just keep going and put your ideas in this reality, and well, take care and see you from Latin America. We are El Rock Es Cultura.
Thank you, my friend.